Okay, we're talking about last time preventive measurement. So how do we protect our computer by maintaining on regular basis? So we shouldn't be uh, cause any big problem which cost you more or your customer more. Following simple step will help you a lot and protect your system from big problem. Um, so that was a preventive measurement. But if you or your customer having some problem, so what is the process to troubleshoot the problem? Troubleshooting is a technique. Uh, some steps we follow, right, to solve find the problem first. We need to know first what the problem is, right? And have you ever troubleshoot any problem? Troubleshoot mean finding a problem and resolving it. That's a technical jargon. Uh, have you ever have you ever faced any, have you ever gone through the troubleshooting process for your computer, for any smartphone, for instance, tablet or something like that? Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So have you ever heard the term troubleshoot?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So what's the meaning of the troubleshoot? Troubleshoot means, huh? Shoot the trouble. This is what I was expecting to hear from you peoples, right? So if there is a trouble, shoot it out. Well, this is in
With
English
which gun,
to,
madam?
huh?
We can shoot it with which gun?
Uh, that's I don't know. That's I don't know. You this is your call, right? So my strategy is different. Troubleshoot means finding the problem and resolving it. This is a skill in technical terms, in technical jargon. So first you find out the finding or exploring cause of the problem. Cause is important, you know. You cannot just ignore what caused the problem happens, you know. Finding and exploring cause of problem. Well, the cause of problem was we discussed yesterday, overheating, dusting, not proper maintenance, maybe not using the antivirus, maybe not updating it, the Windows operating system. Those could be the those causes could pave the problem, right? Pave the troubles for computers, troubles for users, troubles for customers. And then once you find the problem, right, you explore it, then you test it, then you uh, find a solution, find solution, and leading to resolution of the problem, right? Or resolving problem, right? And then document it. What did you do, right? So starting from this step, this. So you need to document. You know why? Because the next time if something happens similar, so you would know what steps you have performed and for future for reference, maybe you were able to resolve the problem, right? or not resolve the problem. It's all depend upon your skills, experience, uh, and it comes from not only from the technical knowledge, it comes from the experience, right? So have you have you ever faced a computer problem, malfunctioning computer, and you try to resolve in your own way, right? Even you didn't know that you performed those steps undefined, but you were able to solve that problem. It happens something like in in hardware or in software. Do you remember any of you or all of you? No, really. So you're working with an ideal system, no problem, nothing happened wrong, right? So all the time, everything is working fine. That's good. But it does not happen in the real systems, you know. Yes, no input. Maybe you were thinking about, yeah, I had a problem, but I don't know how did I resolve it. It
Yes,
was resolved.
yes, ma'am.
It happens like this.
Yes, ma'am.
I
We
had a
have
problem.
problem of short thinking.
Huh? Sorry?
We have problem of short time loss memory, ma'am. We just forget it how we did it.
So if this is the problem, you know, that is not only for you. That's for many people, sometimes including myself. I solved the problem. Well, I forgot it, maybe, right? So then we document it, right? So this is what we say, hey, let me write down the steps. What did I do? What procedure I followed along? Make a notebook. You should carry a notebook. Being an IT technician, that is the more on the top of your technical skills. So you documented this is the that was the problem, and those are the steps I carried on, or those are the references who helped me out. Maybe your friend, maybe internet, maybe some YouTube guy, right? So so this is what we say documentation. Let me tell you something more about it step by step. So when we had a problem or someone had a problem, right? So look at this gentleman. So so that's in human nature. Got frustrated. Hey, this is happening again and again. Or computer is restarting again and again. I couldn't connect to something, couldn't access something, right? So everything is wrong, but I am doing everything right. That's the first thing happens, comes in the mind, right? So let me introduce you this huge topic, introduction to troubleshooting. As I said, that is an skill, right? So troubleshooting requires an organized and logical approach to problem with computers and other components. So it eliminates, so you eliminates the variables and identify the causes of the problem in a systematic order. So troubleshooting is a skill which refined over the time. Maybe first time you meet the problem, you might be behaving like this gentleman, right? So whether it is your personal computer, your friend's computer, or you're working on customer computer, but once you resolve the problem, you solved it, it's got it working. So you will learn from the mistakes also, the redundant steps you perform, which causes more problem, right? So but you have learned from that experience. And next time you would have similar problem, then you will be in better shape. That would be in better shape to resolve this. That's why we call troubleshooting is a skill. When you're working in a lab setup, for instance, in any other course, right? With the real production environment. So there's a problem happens definitely when you start working first time with some scenario inside a scenario. Maybe they're going to be a problem. So you learn by mistakes, right? But it helps to refine your skills. So before you begin troubleshooting problem, always follow the necessary precaution to protect the data on a computer. That's the most important thing. Backup, internal favorite. What is the most important thing? What is the most important data on someone personal computer or desktop or your computer? What do you think? What is the most important thing if his computer stop working for any reason, right? So maybe your fault or not your fault. So what is the most important data you should back up?
The data on which we currently working on,
Uh, the data which is
which we are currently working on.
okay. So your latest data information, latest working folder. That's a reasonable answer. Yes. Like you're working with job, your current job or your current study plan or courses, assignment, etc., etc. And this is you had a one folder there, right? So that is your my data, something like this, right? My data current. So this is something. So this is the four most important thing. If his computer stop working, you need it immediately, right? So what else you would be looking for? Hey, this is something I'm not able to access. What should I do? What else you think?
Data that can be replaced easily, like work spreadsheets, extra.
Yeah, data, when you say data, then variety of it could be the format, document, Excel sheet, maybe some programming file, maybe your grade record, etc., etc. That can be any important thing which is related to you, right? Um, anyways, so what else other than this? Yes, nothing else. That's the only thing you need to. You would be recovering it, and you bring your laptop or PC to technician if, as you are learning right now, and say, "Hey, I my computer stop working." But before you fix my computer problem, I need to get my data back. Do do you have any of you have a scenario like this? Well, data can be your personal data, yes. And another thing, you go to the most often your favorite website, right? So where you most often go, maybe like I learn links, maybe Canada, Stanford resource links, maybe some your favorite news, online news, um, something like that. So your internet links, right? I think everybody maintain their favorite links, right? Your most often visited website. Well, you cannot remember all the time the URLs, right? Visited websites, so you stored them in favorite folder. But in that case, if computers start working and behaving awkward or bizarre, so what do you do? Before happening this, always back up the data. Backup means what do you think? Backup means what? Yes, backup means what? Have a backup plan. Have your parents ever told you before going to Canada? Have a backup plan.
Storing data for a future use or like making
Yes,
it safe or working it on further.
yes, very good. It's just copying or another
Yes, ma'am.
copy, copying or storing. You said store data, your important data, right? Your important. What is important data? We just said that it could be your folders, personal folders, information, right? And your backup data, right? Your favorite links, internet favorite links. That's a too important because we cannot just back up applications programs, right? That's not the thing. We are not talking about backup. Doesn't mean, hey, this is the game I install and I love to play every day, I should back up this game. Well, you can have an installation file as a backup, but you cannot just transfer the whole install game to another. uh, anyway, so copying and storing data um, from your internal hard drive, where it is residing currently, from your hard drive, internal to external storage device. This is what we call the backup process, right? So, have you ever performed a backup? How often you perform the backup? Some organization like you perform backup on the daily basis. Some organization perform backup on uh, weekly basis and some on the monthly basis. Well, it depends upon in which field they are working or what is the kind of business they are working with, right?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you please check waiting room?
Can I please?
Check waiting room.
I think I'm keep checking it. No one is there. Yes, whoever was there, I'll let them in. Well, the waiting room is all about for controlling the peoples who come with fake username and try to steal the ruin the lecture environment. So that's why I just even this is my additional task for me. It's keep bothering me to look at the waiting room, but I think it's going to be helpful in 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 term of learning environment, right? Okay, so now you got this point. Troubleshooting is in skills refined over the time, and you have to follow some organized and logical procedure. Let's try this. Let's try this. Oh, that's a problem. It's not working. What should I do? We don't try to randomly apply a solution. Don't apply random solution. Never, because it may cause another problem, right? Or it may create this may cause a problem more severe, right? So here is a strategy, step by step. Starting from step one, right? Know the problem. What the problem is. Like you ask me question. Well, you ask the question, right? I first try to know what is the problem is, right? So because if I don't know the problem, how it can be resolved, right? So customer come to you with the computer, but that is his or her computer. You don't know anything about it, right? So he come with here with hey, I got a problem. Fix it. Can you fix it? If he say just I got a problem, it's not working. And can you fix it? Do you think? Well, you would explore it, right? So you're going to explore the problem. So how would you explore the problem? What do you think? Who can help you to identify the problem? Please be responsive. If you are there, connected, don't just stay quiet. Or if you're busy doing something else, that's another thing. I cannot force you. Uh, Identify the problem. How? Who can help you to identify the problem?
Troubleshooter.
Um, that's a troubleshooting scheme procedure, right? That's a process, and there are 6 essential process every IT technician should follow and recommended to follow. Recommended by experienced technicians who are in this field. Uh, who can help you to identify the problem? What do you think? See, when I ask you the question, you think that is very difficult question, right? Better to stop. Better to not to respond. That is the cause of the main problem. Always think the problem is simple. You know, think simple. Think a simple solution, right? So yes. So you guys have decided not to participate, right? Is that correct?
No, ma'am, we are.
How do I know that you are participating? Identifying the problem. Well, some customer bring computers and device to you. It's not working. Fix it. Well, it pay you, right? And well, it pay you later. First, you need to find out the problem. What kind of? So if we simply say it's not working, it's not going to help you to resolve the problem. So you need to identify the problem, right? Always. So how do you identify the problem? Think about it. Then second step is establish a theory of probable cause. What it could be, why this problem happens, what could be the cause, what the customer did wrong, which caused the problem, right? Or what did he miss, she missed to do, which caused the problem. So this is what we call um, establish the theory of probable cause. Think about it simply, not overthinking like when I'm asking you questions. So you guys start overthinking and over scratching head. It causes more problem, right? So, you know, uh, so establish a theory of probable cause. Probable cause, like maybe the power plug was not in properly, right? That could be the simple cause. Um, Test the theory to determine the cause. Well, if it is the power plug not plugged in properly, right? Or maybe the customer was so frustrated if he or she forgot to turn on the power button at the side of the desktop case. Establish testing the theory means, okay, this is what you think a problem. Maybe the power plug was not properly insert it, then test it. Test this theory. How do you test? How do you test the theory? What do you think? Well, if it was the cause, you think, right? Maybe, right? So how do you test? Well, plug in the power, see if it works or not, right? Establish a plan. Yes,
Recording in progress.
yes. Okay. Establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution. Verify full system functionality. You plan an set of action. This is what I'm going to do. I will check the power supply. I'll check the RAM is properly seated. I'll check there's no overheating and no cable loose, right? So this is the plan you establish, and then you work it out, and the problem is resolved, right? So once you think the problem is resolved, so verify full system functionality, and if applicable, implement preventive measures. Implementing preventive measures means tell the customer that don't do this those things again. Maybe he's not cleaning the fan for a long time. It over dusted, cause overheating inside the system. So do let the customer know that that's will cause the problem again. Or maybe he went to a specific website, or she went to the specific website, and was that was a malware kind of software inside that website running. And you tell the customer that if you're going to do those things again, then the problem will come back, right? So documents finding, last step, you done all, you verify it, system is working before you return the system to your customer. Um, then you you document your finding, your actions, and the outcomes, right? Question if you have it on this slide.
No, ma'am.
So those are the EC troubleshooting process, right? All right. So let's look at this strategy step by step, starting from the backup plan. Data protection is important, always try to make I would recommend you make an habit of backing up the data, if not on daily basis, at least once in a week or once in a month, because who knows, and if anything happened wrong to system, then your data will be lost, most probably, right? So before troubleshooting problem, always follow the necessary precautions to protect the data on a computer. So user data like documents, favorite links should be backed up to a removable drive before starting any diagnostic or repair. Because once you start repairing and user did not back up the data, then data might be lost. And to retrieve the data becomes more difficult and expensive for the customer then. If unsure that the backup has been done, do not attempt any troubleshooting activity until the following are verified. What you need to verify with your customer: uh, date of the last backup. Ask him or her when did you back up your data last time, right? Contents of the backup. What did you back up, or what you need
Ma'am,
to be
what's up
backed up?
that backup?
Hmm?
Yeah, we currently did WhatsApp chat backup.
Yeah. So WhatsApp always ask you every next day, back up the data, and I always ignore because if I start backing up the WhatsApp data, then my own memory gonna be all full. Because well, it comes WhatsApp data is comes is it's appears most often. After a week, someone else will send you the same kind of stuff, right? So I think I don't need to back it up then. Um, Availability of all backup media for data restore, right? If no backup can be created, ask customer to sign a release form. Okay, what is this sign release form is? Let me turn on my fan. It's a little bit hot. Anyways, so what is it if no backup was done, right? Customer say, hey, my problem, I didn't back up anything. I don't know, right? I don't know how to back it up. I forgot for 5 months or 6 months. Last time I back it up, right? So in that case, when you get that kind of confirmation from the customer, he didn't perform any backup, then ask him to sign a release form. What is this release form is? A liability release form should be signed by the customer before beginning work, and that form should include a description of the work to be performed, a, excuse me, permission to work on computer without a current backup available, and a release from liability if data is lost or corrupted. Do you agree with that? Right? Do you think it is important or not important? What if you don't sign this release form from customer? What would be the problem then? Well, if you don't get this release for liability release form from the customer,
It won't back up for the further.
yeah, he will uh, uh, blame you or make you responsible for any other problem inside the system, whether it had been there or not had been there, right? So you first get the permission from the customer. Anything happen wrong further, I'm not responsible, right? Give me the permission to work on it so I can work with my own style, and tell the customer this is what you're going to perform. Maybe that you're going to replace the hard drive, maybe you're going to replace the motherboard, or upgrading the memory, right? So you can tell the customer, okay, this is something I might be performed, and would you be comfortable to me to do that? So without a current backup, if not backup had been done. And then if you say, okay, I fixed the problem, maybe you lost the data, even the system is start working. Maybe I have to reinstall the operating system, right? So if you reinstall the operating system, then the customer data gonna be lost, and he will start yelling on you. Hey, you resolve my problem, but you create another problem for me, right? Because I cannot get my data back. So you should do this kind of confirmation with the customer. This is what we call liability release form. Okay, once you are done with those uh, basic starting steps, now think about the problem, right? Identify the problem. That is the first step. After deciding whether the data is backed up or not backed up, and customer is and you and customer mutually agreed upon to follow those steps. Then during the troubleshooting process, gather as much information because customer is the main source. The customer can tell you about his problem because he has a problem, right? He's facing the problem or she's facing the problem, and you don't know anything about his computer, right? Or her computer. So identify the problem, gather the information from the user as much as possible, but always be respectful. Hey, you made it this problem. How do I know that's the problem is, right? So don't forget a respectful behavior when you're dealing with your customer. It's important. So this information can be used once you gather the information and customer feel comfortable to provide you the information. Hey, you know what was the problem? I was trying to access the www.xyz, my favorite game, and etc. website. And after that, next morning, I try to turn on my system and my operating system is not responding. Maybe, right? Or maybe one of my sibling used my computer yesterday night and then I tried to turn it on next day, it's not responding, right? So that could be the kind of things a user can provide you. So this information basically will be used to aid in solving the problem and use the following strategy. You use this strategy during the mm, identification of the problem. Start by how do you explore? Well, customer may be reluctant to tell you or user may be reluctant to tell you the problem. That's the problem is, right? Because he exactly not sure what was the cause or what is the exact problem is, right? So how do you make him open to give you more information about the problem? By using there are two kind of questions. One is the open-ended question and another is the closed-ended question. Are you guys following along? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So the things are simple, easy, digestible, right? Even for the people who are attending classes from the local time, 7 o'clock, right? So that's a simple strategy. You can implement it even in your day-to-day life, you know. So start by using open-ended question. What is well, you need to get the information out of the user, right? Because he is the person who knows what happened exactly. So start by asking some open-ended question. Open-ended question means something which can give you more information, generic information. As I said, you're going to tell you a little story what exactly happened, what before the computer stopped responding. So then ask some close-ended question. Sometimes you might notice that I apply also those strategy when I'm working with you peoples. Uh, Open-ended question means some more information from and sentence or two sentence of the problems, right? A little bit more information. And then close-ended information means, well, you say, did you do this? Did you say yes or no? Right? Yes or no? Right? So answer yes or no, right? So this is what we call close-ended questions. Close-ended question means it will just confirm any relevant information. Once you get that information, document the responses. You have to write down, as you say that. And it's not only with problem with one person. It happens to me as well. Can be happens to anyone, right? So document it. Well, I know everything. I'm going to remember everything. It's not really possible now in those days, especially the pandemic or kind of so many challenges we are having in our this new era of pandemic. So document the response, whatever he mentioned, yes or no, or a general information. Make a note of it. So when you're start working on the problem, so you're going to refer that information. Verify that customer description by gathering the data from the computer and from the computer using the application. Now, that's very technical kind of things. Wait, can you see this form on my computer? Let me make it a little bit more bigger if I can. No, how to make it more bigger? This one, right? So this is the identifying the problem form. Your organization you're working for, and they might have something like that. If not, then you can create your own. Customer information, computer configuration, problem discussion, open-ended questions, error message. Report any error message like hard disk light is not turning on or not blinking, something like this, right? Beep sequence. Those are the post beep sequence, right? I'll tell you a little bit more about after those steps description. So beep sequence, well, if there is a problem, normally there's a one single beep when you turn on the computer, right? It means the computer is working fine after the post sequence. But if there's a problem, then system start crying, right? How does it cry? Well, it cry by generating some beep sequence, some combination of longer and short beeps, right? So one long beep or two short beep or sequence of short beeps or two, three combinations of beeps, right? So that is what we call the uh, BIOS. That's basically generated by BIOS. That's the BIOS who's telling you, hey, listen those beep sequence, and then there's a beep code, and you go to the BIOS manufacturer website and check those beep sequence, one longer beep and along with two short beeps, right? So what this error means to maybe VGA card is not working, maybe the keyboard port is not working, mouse is stop working, mouse port is stop working. So LED is not responding or the post, all those kind of things. So you fill up this form, right? And then if let's suppose if a system is turning on, but there is some other software issue. So how do you check if system is working? Then you go to the event. There are some built-in tools like event viewers, beep code. I said that beep code you can check with the manufacturer website. And because different BIOS, we have the different versions of BIOS manufacturers like Asus BIOS or Dell or AMI or kind of things. Like, there's a bunch of more vendors. So check them with them. In diagnostic tools, so there are many free tools also available online which help you to diagnose the problem. In some built-in tools of operating system like device manager, task manager, a viewer, you know how to get them? Hmm? Do you know how to get the event viewer or device manager or task manager? How you can go to the task manager? Yes,
Left click on the right of the screen and it shows Task Manager.
left click on the right of the screen. Oops, you mean this? Like this?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
We have open task manager option on the home. We can click on home screen. The left click open task manager at the end of the screen. We got the apps running
No, no taskbar. On
on the
taskbar, no.
taskbar. On the taskbar.
Okay. Like this.
Yes, ma'am. Task manager.
Okay. Yes. Correct. Okay. Anybody else? Any how well, you can also go from control alt del key. Control alt del key will take you to the task manager, right? And you can go from taskbar as well, right? And you can write down in the run command as well. So what is the what help you can get from the task manager? Telling you all the current tasks which are running on my computer, like I am running team manager. Oops, 9 Google Chrome pages. I didn't open them right now. Anyways, so Zoom meeting is running. Those are my current. Maybe one of the tasks is not responding. For instance, team is not responding, right? So what I'm gonna do, I select that particular task, and then I will uh, I will stop the task. Simple, right? If some particular task is not responding, easiest way to get rid of it, just stop that task, right? You can just go and stop or end the task, or you can also check the performance of your system, how your CPU is doing or how user CPU is doing, right? So it will tell you this graph or if everything working fine or not. So this is one of the built-in tool. Another is event viewer, as the name indicate. You can view, that's basically you can say it maintains the log, system log. Not only system log, but it's basically maintains the Windows log. What I mean by Windows log means anything, any activity, good and bad, related to application, it is logged here. Recorded means it tells you when it was happened, what was the information, or if there is a problem, you can check it out. Any security threat, setup problem, system, and some forwarded events, all those kind of log information you can check from the log, uh, event log viewer, or you can run the event log viewer by right clicking your window icon. This is most often I use when I'm teaching you. Right clicking, and you can see here the options, or you can go into the some other places, run the task, event viewer, even EV and VIW, something like that. So that will also take you to the event viewer window. Another thing where you can check the problem if the system is turning on, right? If there is no big problem with booting the system, but some minor problems, you can still go inside the computer and you can boot the computer. Then you can go to the device manager, and from device manager, if anything wrong there, any device is not working, you would see a red mark or stop mark beside that device and a question mark, and then you can check immediately, hey, this is the point of the problem, cause of the problem. So you first check that device then. All right, makes sense, hopefully. So once you got the problem, identify what it is. First, you need to know the problem, right? Otherwise, you cannot resolve it if you don't know the problem, right? So try to gather as much information about the problem as you can. So that's going to be helpful by asking the question from the customer or user, and exploring about it, and making a note of that problem in this sheet. worksheet. This is your IT worksheet. Then you establish the theory of the probable cause. Now you start guessing, right? Good guess. What good guess would be? Maybe the device is powered off. Maybe the power switch for an outlet is turned off. Maybe the
Problem
search
in
button.
power supply.
Yeah, that is could be the problem. Maybe the search. Those are the internal problem, right? So you're just superficially. Just think simple. I always advise you. If you think simple, uh, then the solution becomes simple. You know, if you think complicated, then solution becomes lead to the you lead to the complicated solution. First think simple. Maybe he didn't plug in the power even, right? It happens, you know. When I'm working in person setup and people call me over, hey, my system is not working, you know. Yeah, I follow. How do I follow your instruction? You give me the broken system, right? Then, you know, first thing I ask to check the power, right? Check the power. If it is, hey, yeah, I forgot. Sorry, I didn't turn it on. This switch was off, you
They
know.
must have short time loss memory problem.
They also have the short-term memory loss. Okay. That is, yeah, we can suggest them to do some diet plan or something like that, right? To uh, well, that's it's required for everyone. Anyways, I remember most of the thing, but I cannot remember everything on the top of my head. Well, the people expect me to remember everything all the time, but well, this could be, but not possible all the time. That's an ideal case. Anyways, so create a list of the most common reasons why error would occur in the computer manual. Check the computer manual and computer repair history log can help to establish a plan of action. So you solve something earlier, right? Previously with the same user or different users, similar kind of problems. It happens, you know. Then you use your history log and check it out. What did you do when it that was the problem, you know? So history log is basically a solution to our short-term memory problem, right? So we can check it out there. List the easiest or most obvious cause at the top and more complex causes at the bottom. Okay, don't start thinking, hey, I should replace this motherboard. Sounds like the motherboard having some problem, you know. So motherboard cost him to replace like $200 or something like this. You better go to your shop and your place and say, hey, I'm gonna find someone else to fix my problem. So, you know, so start from the easiest, most obvious. Those are the most obvious kind of things, right? Um, Maybe surge protector is not turned off and lose external cables, you know. Non-bootable disk in designated boot drive. Sometimes it happens. You set up the CD drive as a bootable device in your BIOS setup, and you left some video CD which you had been watching, or user left the video DVD in his CD drive, right? So if that would be the case, and he next day he tried to turn on the system, and system cannot boot. You know why? Because he used to boot from the CD drive, and now the CD drive has something else. So it's not working, right? So research the symptoms, incorrect boot order. This is also important, right? Maybe he replaced the sequence of the boot from hard disk to CD to network to USB. That's the most recommended sequence, but not all the time necessary would have the same. depending upon the situation and scenario you're working with. I think I can stop on this slide and can give you 5 minutes quick break. Refresh your thought, refresh your eyes. Do you need a break or shall I continue?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
5 minutes
Break,
break.
ma'am.
Okay. So what time it is right now? 8:30, right? 8:34 or 35, think like this. So come back after 5 minutes. 35, 8:40. Not later than 8:45 then maximum. Okay. So then I'll continue from this.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. Yes. So you find the problem and then you figure out the cause of the problem, right? Now, what is next then? Test the theory, what you have established here. Maybe this, check it out, right? So determine the exact cause by testing the theory. You guys are done with the break, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am.
So test the theory, determine the exact cause by testing the theories of probable cause, one at a time. You cannot just test them, all of them together. Hey, I'm going to test the BIOS, I'm going to test the power at the same time, right? So go step by step. And after identifying an exact problem, let me fix this one. Just, uh, okay, that's better. So if the exact cause of the problem has not been determined, for instance, you couldn't figure out what was the real cause, after all theories, you test this one, you test the power cord, you test the power switch and surge protector, external cables. It's externally, you're checking just as superficially what we can call. Um, so in boot sequence in BIOS, just a superficial check, a quick check. So if doesn't resolve, determine the exact cause, then build a new theory, right? Build a new probable cause theory and test it again. So those two, step 2 and 3, step 2 and 3 can be performed one time from 2 to 3, or can be repeated twice. Well, it depends upon how smart you are to develop the theory of the cause. Then establish, once you determine the problem and its cause. Cause means you're going to fix that cause, right? Which create the problem. If it was hard disk or anything else, so you're going to fix it. So establish a plan of action to resolve the problem and implement the solution. Uh, you know, how do you solve the problem? After the exact cause of the problem is determined, establish a plan. And sometimes a quick procedure can determine the exact cause of the problem or even correct the problem, right? So if quick procedure does not correct the problem, well, it can be, right? Not necessary. You perform the simple steps. And step 1, 2, 3. This is one some of them I have listed here, the basic theory or basic causes or fundamental causes could be. But if none of them is working for you, divide the larger problem into a smaller problem that can be analyzed further and resolved and solved individually, right? So if there is a big problem like motherboard or has a CPU which need to be replaced, or maybe thermocouple need to be placed again, or replace a fan assembly or cooling assembly. So you divide that bigger problem. That's a big problem, right? So you divide it into the small steps. Always try it. So when you get a task, a big task, don't think I can just finish it. Well, in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Don't push yourself too hard. So I will resolve this problem in couple of minutes. So always divide that problem or uh, uh, action into a small set of action one, action two, action three, and then if it doesn't work, move on two. If it doesn't work, move on three, and it doesn't work. Finally, you get to the right solution. But that's not in random guess, right? That's strategical, logical actions, right? Which you have decided after exploring different resources. So, if no solution achieved in the previous step, further research is needed. And you can check the external resources. Don't feel shy to ask other people's, other technicians. Uh, check the vendor website, device manuals, internet search. So when you are a newbie in this field, so you can follow along those all kind of resources other than you, right? So check other resources, and you would be able to get to the right problem in more systematic approach. Uh, so once you have resolved the problem, this is what we call troubleshoot the problem. Verify full system functionality and, if applicable, implement preventive measures. The troubleshooting process is not over until you resolve it for yourself, right? So you have to offer full system functionality, and you need to confirm with the user. You show this user system is functioning properly. You turn on the system in front of him or her and verify that it's working as it was supposed to be. Have the customer try out fixes you implement. Ensure that you have not created another problem while repairing the computer. Maybe you soldering the motherboard and you over solder, and it make a short circuit on the motherboard, right? So that causing another problem then, right? So if system is working properly, implement preventive measures if required. So check this step 5, quick procedure. If you have questions on it, you can ask me at this point. Okay, so excuse me. So all done, problem resolved. Well, your job is still not finished. You handed over the system to the user. He is happy, you are happy because you get your job paid off, right? Then uh, next step, the final step is document finding, actions, outcomes. What did you exactly do from step 1 to step 5? So document it. Discuss the solution with the customer both verbally and in writing. Have the customer confirm that the problem has been solved. Document the entire process for future reference, right? That's important. We resolve the problem. That's we or you or me who resolved the problem. But maybe after a month, I forgot what I did. That's human, right? Nature. So better we document it. So document the details and the frequency of each maintenance task, um, problem discussion, document the process, steps to resolve the problem, components used in the repair. Maybe you purchase new RAM or hard drive or CPU or cooling fan or nothing, right? So you list them in your document and find it, right? So can you follow those 6 steps when you need to troubleshoot the problem,
Yes, ma'am. We will
right?
follow.
Mm. So always try to, because this will help to resolve the problem in organized and logical procedure. This is organized and logical tested procedure. If you start randomly doing from here for any middle of this process, then it may take more time. Maybe ended up with frustration. Maybe ended up without resolution, right? So so try to follow this systematic logical procedure to you're not gonna learn by memorizing those steps, by practicing those steps, right? But by practicing those steps. Okay, so PC common problems and some of the common problems are related to storage device, motherboard, power supply. What could be wrong with them? Storage devices often related to loose or incorrect cable. Maybe you inserted a SATA cable, which is not suitable, right? SATA has a different versions, different color codes. So check it out that you are inserting the right cable for the storage device. Incorrect drive and media format seen, incorrect BIOS setting. So check the BIOS setting as well. How did you when you replace a new device, right? So make sure that the BIOS setting is compatible with it, or BIOS can recognize your storage device. Motherboard and internal components. These problems are often caused by incorrect or loose cable, failed components, incorrect drives, and corrupted updates. Power supply may be, what could be the cause, probable cause with power supply. Faulty power supply, right? Loose connections, inadequate cooling. You install, excuse me, you install a new VGA card, for instance, on motherboard, and it requires more wattage. It happens. VGA cards requires more wattage than other adapter cards. But power supply is not fulfilling that requirement, additional requirement your adapter card has, newly installed adapter card has. So you need to replace the power supply with more wattage. CPU and memory. What could be the cause with the CPU and memory? Well, memory can be lost, right? So not really like that, but the processor and memory problems are often caused by faulty installation, incorrect BIOS setting. BIOS setting is important with all those hardware devices. Inadequate cooling and ventilation, compatibility issues. Well, compatibility issues means that the uh, CPU socket is not matched with the CPU installed, it, right? And vice versa. Or the memory you installed doesn't match what is the current memory you have, the current configuration you have, then it's not matched, mismatched, incompatible, then it's not going to be recognized inside the BIOS. Display problem, incorrect setting, loose. Sometimes people like turn off their brightness and they say, yeah, I cannot see anything on my display, right? Maybe kids did that one and user didn't know about it. So incorrect setting, loose connection, incorrect or corrupted drivers. So check the drivers as well. For peripheral devices, peripheral devices like display or mouse or any other additional external device, check with the driver updates as well. So common problem with which are not for instance, computer does not recognize the storage device. So what gonna happen then? So you check it out. If it's not recognizing the storage device, user says, I cannot see my hard drive LED is not blinking, right? So what could be the cause that front LED not working? Maybe the loose cable connection. First thing, always start simple, simple uh, cause or simple solution. So check the LED cable. Maybe it is loose. That's why it's not blinking. Maybe it's not the fault of the hard drive. So uh, so you check it, right? So the data cable loose, jumper settings, storage device failed, storage device setting in BIOS is incorrect. So check those things. If a user complained that the hard drive is not responding, Maybe the user come to you with the complaint that the clock on the computer is no longer keeping the correct time, or the BIOS setting are changing when the computer is rebooted. So your system may be giving 2021 instead of 2021 is telling you about 2012, maybe like that, right? So it doesn't mean that the computer clock is doing a typo mistake, right? What do you think? What would be the cause then? The cause is basically CMOS battery, right? Because that timing information is stored in CMOS. If CMOS battery lose, or CMOS battery may be drained, right? So CMOS battery basically have a longer life, to be honest. About in 10 years, they works fine, right? So that could, if it happens once in a time, once in a moon, right? Maybe out of 1,000 systems, one user come to you and say, my system is not giving me the right time. So something is burning, right? Inside the computer, you feel the burning smell. Then what could be the cause? What do you think? Can you tell me any reason? What caused the burning inside the system? Are you guys there? I'm doubted.
We are here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So how's going?
Yes, ma'am.
We are
How's
listening
going?
to you carefully, madam.
Yes,
With
ma'am.
both the eyes open and both the ears open.
I appreciate. But sometimes we open the our verbal input as well, you know, and that's helpful. That keep me updated, keep me motivated, and to teach
You
you
are
any.
great, ma'am.
Huh?
You are great.
I'm great. What grade? You know, grade A? What do you mean grade means? Grade, only grade we know, A plus or kind of things, right? A minus, no people's like A minus. Some people just hate the B grades, right? Which one? Okay, all right. Well, I do care my students, you know. You come to me to learn something, and I don't like to disappoint.
Thank you,
So,
ma'am.
what caused the burning? Well, you're gonna start trying. Something is burning, right? Shut down the system. That's the first thing you should do, right? Otherwise, it causes fire. And so, what? Once you figure out something is burning, but what is this something is, right? So you need to figure it out. Um, if you smell the burning of electronic devices, that's really hazardous and cause the fire, cause the more danger to the human safety. So the computer is not plugged in into the AC outlet. Maybe this outlet had a problem where it was plugged in. You know, the power cord is faulty. Power supply switch is not turned on, and the power supply switch is set to the incorrect voltage. Remember, the power supply has two switches, right?
Yes.
110 or 220. If you're sitting in back home in India, then your switch is set to this. Your from where you purchased the computer. Maybe they did already the setting, or adapter you use for the laptop. It has the two setting as well, right? Um, so check out those things. that caused of burning inside the computer.
Yes, ma'am. Fire alarms goes on beep beep and ma'am fire feed comes.
Yeah, it comes like this, happens, but you don't go to that severe condition. Always, prevention is better than cure. Think about it, right? Prevention is better than cure. You're going to cure it later and you fix the problem, but try to prevent the problem happening. Um Adding RAMs can improve the performance of the problem. Computer will not boot, lock up, not responding. What could be the cause? Very difficult to find out, right? If computer says no, I'm not getting through, whatever you're gonna do, you check the power cord, you check the power supply, etc., etc. It's still not booting. Then overheating is the problem. Fan is the problem. CPU has failed. That's the most worst condition. Replacing the CPU. Well, overheating can be resolved. Just clean the dust and have some more, like give the better environment for the computer, right? Use the computer in better environment, in better temperature environment and humidity environment, or you can replace fan and CPU. That's easier solution, right? So come to the complex. Always remember, come to the complex solution at the very end. Hey, I'm going to replace CPU. It's overheating, right? That's not the first solution. That is the last solution, right? If this doesn't work, then you come to the replacement of the CPU. Okay, so display has power, but no image on the screen. No image on the screen. Well, easy solution, check the brightness tab, and maybe someone or you forgot to maintain the right brightness setting for your monitor. Video cables is loose or damaged. The computer is not sending a video signal to external display. So check the video adapter first, right? Maybe the power, some video cards require their individual power cord. So check it out if it is functioning or plugging in properly, or maybe loose. Maybe you did a move you moved recently your computer from one station to up floor or down floor or somewhere else. So it may lose the cable inside the system. So check it out, and then check the VGA card health if it is good. I think antivirus is a software solution, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So check the antivirus, run the antivirus, check event viewer. If any error is a critical error, well, there could be some errors in which warning messages which you may ignore. But if there is critical error is logged in with a yellow mark there and under the device manager, then you have to check that error. Run the software driver updates, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much good information which you can carry on to resolve a hardware problem, right? That's more related. This technique is can be implemented to the software issues as well. Yes, you can follow the same strategy with some software with Windows operating system, right? Um, Easier solution is update the Windows operating system. Make a note, check journals, check the history of the repair, make your own reference tools. Those are your reference tools, right? Your notebook is the best reference, right? Some journals, online journals are a good reference. You solved that problem earlier, or someone else has solved that problem. Maybe your friend has solved a similar problem. Check with him or her. How did he solve that problem? Other technicians, check with them. When you are in production, Those are your tools, references. You need the references. You cannot just resolve everything by yourself. Even you learn them, right? But you still need someone else to help you further. All right, question if you have. I think you can check those things I mentioned earlier. Internet reference tools, online tools, manufacturer website, manuals, chat forums, technical website. Well, you go most frequently. You're good to go on internet and explore the different things what other people are offering to the similar problem. All right, so this is something we follow and recommended to follow when we need to troubleshoot the problem. And that's a systematic approach, logical approach, and easier to follow. All right. Question if you have something not clear.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
No means everything is clear. Opposite of no is yes, right? Everything is clear, crystal clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
Okay, so what is next? Your attendance? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Okay, remember next week we have Thursday, right? Thursday you come back in this class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
midterm test, right? So prepare for midterm test as I mentioned yesterday. Chapter 1 to 4 and I updated D12 also. Some links had been posted. Check it out, the modules, different modules. I think that's going to help you to prepare. In the textbook is the best reference to prepare for the test. And you may check the Google book if you're having difficulty to get access to the textbook. Did you find it on the Google book?
yes,
Yes, ma'am.
So Google sometimes offers some free sample reading. Maybe not the whole book. Well, we are not using whole book anyways. Some part. So check it out. That's gonna be helpful. Okay. So don't forget to prepare for the test. One second, let me get to the attendance tab. Akashdeep,
Present, ma'am.
Amandeep Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Amanveer Singh,
I'm present, ma'am.
Arjun,
present, ma'am.
Arshdeep Singh,
Arshdi present, ma'am.
okay. One second.
Hello.
Yes,
Arshdi
yes,
present.
okay. Gurinder,
Present, ma'am.
Gurleen Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Gurmanjot Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Harmeet Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Jaspal Singh, Jitanpreet Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Jobanpreet Singh,
Yes, ma'am.
Jobanpreet Singh number 2,
Yes, ma'am.
Karanbir Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Kulvinder Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Lovepreet Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Lovepreet Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Manisha, absent.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Manjot Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Manjot Kaur number 2.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Manjot, you as we have mm, common name, So what can you do? Can you put your student ID beside your user ID so I can differentiate who this girl is responding?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, both of you, right? Because I
I
cannot just.
already mentioned my student ID
Okay, that's good.
with my name.
Yeah, that's good. So the other girl, other girl Manjot also does the same thing because yesterday I was really having a difficulty to enter all your names. I asked you to, I did it from the chat box, but it took my 1 hour, uh, because the names list was absurd and the names are common, some of the name, and that was really hard to figure it out. Anyways, I did it and I updated your attendance for yesterday. Mehakdeep Kaur,
Present, ma'am.
Manjot Kaur number 2 is there. Okay, Muskan,
Present, ma'am.
Neha, Neha, Parbinder Kaur, Prinkle Jhat Singh,
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Rajvinder Singh.
Present, ma'am. Hello, present, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am, Present,
Robin Preet.
ma'am.
Okay, Robin
Present,
Preet.
ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Okay, Simarjeet Singh.
Present, ma'am.
Suman Preet Kaur.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, I think Sukman Preet Kaur.
Present, ma'am.
Sukhpreet Kaur.
Present, ma'am.
Vanshika.
Present, ma'am.
Vavesh.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Silverpuri.
Present, ma'am.
Manveer Singh. Ivjot Singh.
Present, ma'am.
Kapil. Kapil.
Present, ma'am.
Divjot.
Present, ma'am.
Komalpreet. Komalpreet. Nivjot.
Present, ma'am.
Nivjot number 2.
Present, ma'am.
Navneet.
Namneet is present, ma'am.
Dishar.
Present, ma'am.
Mohit. Mohit. Sahil.
Present, ma'am.
Ranveer.
Present, ma'am.
Excuse me,
Tanu.
ma'am. Mohit is present.
Tanu.
Present, ma'am.
Shahbaz.
Ma'am.
Shruti.
Present, ma'am.
Monisha.
Present, ma'am.
Shahina.
Present, ma'am.
Harjot.
Present, ma'am.
Karanbir.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Karanbir. Karanbir.
Present, ma'am.
Kamarpal.
Yes, ma'am.
Vikrant.
Present, ma'am.
Anish.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, Komalpreet Kaur is present and she said that her mic is not working.
So ask her to type in the chat box. Just anything, yes or something, hello or whatever.
Ma'am, Neha is stuck in waiting room.
Ma'am, the chat
Hello,
is
ma'am.
disabled.
Chat
Ma'am,
is
now my
Hmm?
ma'am, now my mic is on and it's working, but
Okay.
chat is disabled. I'm present.
Really? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Chat
Ma'am,
is
Neha is
disabled.
also present, but she is in waiting room.
Well, I don't see the chat is disabled. Not really. I didn't
Yes,
do that.
ma'am. Chat is disabled.
Chat is
Yes, ma'am, chat
disabled.
is disabled.
Okay. Sorry about that. You can say something in the chat box. While I was trying to disable the rename themselves, maybe disable the chat as well. Anyways, yes, Komal Preet is present there. Okay. We need at least half hour to mark the attendance, right? Correct? 60 people's class, 1 minute for everyone. Just like the MCQ questions. Komal Preet? Komal. Okay. Anybody else I missed it out?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Parminder says she is present as well. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Parminder. Parminder, you are already marked present. Please check it out at, yes. You know that. Yeah, check it out at your side. Maybe you responded and you forgot that you responded to me, right? Yeah, or sometimes your friend also respond in I don't like to do that. Please don't do that. But sometimes it happens. Sometime I ignore, sometime I may not ignore it. Anybody else? That's it.
Ma'am,
So how was the session today? Hopefully the
Ma'am,
session is
Neha is in
useful for
waiting room.
everyone. Please do prepare for the test next week. Let me know about your feedback. That's important. Thank you for joining me today.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, please mark my previous attendance because due to my flight, I don't attend these classes.
Who is talking, by the way?
Manjot Kaur.
Manjot, what happened?
Ma'am, please mark my attendance for day 8 and 9 and 10 because due to my flight, I am not able to attend these classes.
Manjot Kaur. That's the first time I'm hearing you, Manjot.
Ma'am, Neha said she is in waiting room.
Waiting room. Okay. So
She
ask
keeps
her.
saying, ma'am, his
Well,
internet is too much slow.
well,
ਉਹੀ initial ਤਾਂ ਹੈ
I'm keep allowing her to get into the class. I don't know what happening there. Ask her
Okay, ma'am.
to check it again because every time I get the pop-up message and I hit the admit button, right? Uh, that's a little steps I'm just taking if you're following and I got suggestion from some of you people as well, right? Because sometimes people's hide their user ID and it creates a problem for me. So I need some I want you to have some relaxable learning environment. So when people's come in and pop in with wrong user ID, so they just want to disturb the class, nothing else. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Um,
Ma'am,
internet
I
is
think
too slow.
she wrote in the chat.
Well, ask her. I mark her already present. Don't worry about it.
I will set to her.
Yeah. So I got her message, and internet is too slow. So ask your internet guys to fix this problem. And to my knowledge, the India has very good ISPs, internet
Yeah.
service provider. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I think she's traveling. That's why.
Or she's traveling. She's on flight. Now,
Yeah,
in flight, you can even access the internet. You know that, right?
yes, ma'am. Maybe too slow at there.
Yeah, because they connect you via the satellite service.
Yes, ma'am.
When about a year before the pandemic, like when was the last time I traveled? Maybe in 2018. No, not in 2018. Yes, in 2019 or 2018, when there was no pandemic restrictions, kind of things. Not aware of those kind of things. Um, I found some passengers were using internet, and I was just wondering how come they can access the internet when I couldn't. So, and then one of my friend there, he said that he's just connected to the satellite. It cost even it cost, yeah, it is expensive. I know. Well, people's make the money. For an hour, really? Yeah. Well, it depends how important that task is for you. Well, you cannot afford $20 for sure when you are on the flight. Maybe you need that $20 to have some your to compensate your traveling expenses. Anyways, hopefully